So I still haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I know, I know. I tell people that, and they're like, "Dude, my grandma has seen the movie like 3 times." I'm like, "Whatever, I'll see it on Blu-ray." But now that James Gunn is like super big shot, Mister Blockbuster, billion-dollar hit movie director, I hope people are inspired to either revisit or discover some of his early films. One of those being Slither, which I think is an awesome and hugely entertaining horror movie, which he did a few years ago. I think this was really his first, theatrical movie, which he released. This is such a great fun time. Really kind of a great combination of a great many things. Like it feels like a combination of, like, say, like The Blob, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and any number of zombie movies. So it's really well done, and it is, I would say, in most parts more of a comedy, since it has a very dark sense of humor, which is really well done. Um, but I think it's funny and gruesome at the same time. Great cast too. I mean, you got Nathan Fillion in the main role, which he's always great. Elizabeth Banks, who I love, and Michael Rooker, who basically, I mean, he steals the show in this movie, no question about it. He's great, playing the character. Well, I mean, basically, the plot of the movie: asteroid hits Earth. Michael Park's character sees it in the woods, as they often do in these movies. Alien infects him. It's like a slug creature that gets into him, and kind of possesses his body, sort of. He impregnates, this lady. She grows to be really huge, and then she explodes, and all these slugs come and terrorize the town, jumping into people's mouths and turning them to these zombie things. So, pretty basic, cheesy type of plot that you'll see in a great many of, cheesy types of movies, but so well done. And I really think the effects in this movie is what makes it work, because this movie is absolutely proof that you can get the best of both worlds. You can do CGI effects, but you can also combine them with practical makeup effects, and I think the marriage between the two is so well done here, almost just about seamless. Like, I'll say right now, obviously the practical effects look so much better than the CGI effects. Like, you'll see, like, the horde of the slugs, crawling around. You're like, it doesn't look quite perfect, but it'll do. So I think they are able to get the best of both worlds. So I think it's very entertaining. Like, the humor that they bring to it, I think, is what ultimately makes it work. Because this is the kind of movie where they'll just, like, stop and kind of acknowledge how ridiculous of a situation this is. Like, you see after, like, the first attack, where, like, the guy is split in half, which is pretty cool, and all the hordes of the slugs are coming out. It cuts, like, to the next scene. They're all in the car, and they're just silent, like, okay. So that's funny. That one part where Nathan Fillion just comes like, well, "That's some fucked up shit." Well, yeah, it is. So at least the character's acknowledging that, and even like they poke holes in, like, kind of the heroic moments that we'd see in these types of movies. It's like, brings out the big grenade, and he's like, "Yeah, that's right." Boom, knocks the grenade out of his hand. He's like, "Fuck." So it's funny. I think it's really well done. James Gunn definitely showed a lot of talent in this movie. And that's the thing about, like, horror movies. Like, you'll see that a lot of these bigger directors got their start in horror. Peter Jackson, Sam Raimi, even James Cameron. Had to pay his Roger Corman dues, right? So it's interesting because since it is a genre where you can experiment with certain things, like with special effects, with tone. I think it's a great playing ground for any director who may have higher aspirations. So I think it is very interesting how a lot of bigger directors got their start in horror. Not that I would think that's like the way they should do it. Like, name a director who, like, starts out in horror because they just want to do a quick big hit. like do some remake. Oh, I don't know, like of a Nightmare on Elm Street, and say, oh, I'm not doing horror anymore. I'm gonna do a big Michael Bay like movie. Yeah, fuck you. Anyway, I really love Slither. Definitely something that it has its reputation. It's kind of like a cult movie, but again, I would hope now that James Gunn has a bigger reputation and has a lot of fans now, even more so than he did before. This is definitely worth checking out now. This and Super, not a horror movie, but definitely a movie that I think people should watch if they haven't already. I'd actually like to do a review on that. But anyway, Slither, great Halloween time movie, lots of gruesome fun, great special effects, great humor. Michael Parks, so fuck, did I say Michael Park? Michael Rooker, I'm sorry. So great in this movie, so funny, and he kind of looks like Walter White a little bit in the earlier scenes. He's bald in the glasses, plaid shirt. Anyway, definitely check it out if you haven't. A great horror movie in my opinion. So that'll be my review. Thanks very much for watching. More horror movies to come. 31 Days of Horror. Stay tuned.